What's up, guys? Kane here. I'm not dead yet, just taking a rest. I was a little under the weather. Coming back at you with some replays now. I've got Fealthas and Flipstip here on Quicksilver 1v1. Interesting choice. Looks like Flipstip's going to be jumping down to this lower tier before he places his light vehicle factory there. And then up here to the north, we're seeing Spiderbot factory from Fealthas. A couple of fleets coming out to scout while Flipstip sets up his initial position here. A couple of scouts himself. Just one actually followed by a raider. Yeah, and nice little LT coming up pretty early, a couple of metal extractors, pretty macro-oriented map. I guess I'll throw on the middle display here. You can see that it's pretty well concentrated actually out towards the wings, more so than in the center. You do need to take control of the center, especially when you're playing against two land factories like this. Controlling these bottlenecks, of course, is essential. Both players making sure to get early scouts out to this position. They'll be pretty quickly vying for control of these because, well, like I mentioned, if you can control both of these bottlenecks, you essentially control your opponent's access to metal as well. We're also going to see a lot of contention for these corners, I would imagine, depending on just how macro this goes. Small engagement here. The Scorcher taking out a scout that was sent there by Fealthas, and it looks like Fealthas' plan is going to be Venom to open with, and then a couple more fleets. It looks like interesting. So not really committing to a composition just yet. Let's see. What would I use against light vehicle myself? Well, definitely Venom would be a part of that. Redback, maybe? Or you might go for Recluse instead. I don't think you would see too much Hermit Venom. That's... no, I think because the Scorchers are able to dive. See, it's a really tough call to play Spiders against Light Vehicle Factory, I think, between Slashers and Scorchers, and your units being so fragile, is you just... I don't know, you really give up a lot in terms of unit advantage, but... Either way, we are going to see Fealthas expanding out here to the south using his commander. Going to be turret pushing pretty lightly, making sure to defend his territory here so that Flipstip isn't able to come in and raid him for free. Granted, it is a lot more difficult for Flipstip to raid than it is for Fealthas, just because he can't traverse these hills here, but ultimately you do still need to fortify your territory. Otherwise, you risk something like a couple of darts coming in here and tearing apart your metal extractors, which I've seen happen before myself. And this is very nice, using the Venom as, you know, sort of in tandem with these turrets here. Since you have to defend your territory anyway, if you can just stun out enemies as they enter turret range, then you can just let the turrets deal with them. You just have to have enough EMP to handle all of the units that are coming at you. So you actually can do pretty well with a Venom-heavy composition if you're doing a turret push like we're seeing from Fealthas here. We might see quite a few more turrets coming out of him. He's pretty well-known heavy defender user. Let's see here. Yeah, not too much going on in the way of expansion from Flipstip. It looks like he is poking out of his base just barely, but man, this Venom is really doing a number. You can see that they don't have too much damage themselves, so they really do rely on backup from other units, but Fealthas is happy to build defenders wherever necessary to supply that damage. So yeah, this is a really nice combination, I guess is the right word, of the Venom and then, of course, the turret pushing. It's going to help secure his territory. Turrets are really effective compared to mobile units for metal, for cost. So if you, you know, lightly defend your territory behind your front line with some turrets like this, you have a nice little defensive range so that you can fire at whatever happens to creep through, and then you build a nice, strong defensive, especially right here on a bottlenecky map like this. Basically, Fealthas is going to be looking to secure this northern bottleneck with his commander, and probably the southern one with a constructor here somewhere in the near term. I can see one is being queued up right now. But he's turret pushed like this. He's going to be using the Venoms to support his turrets, essentially. And then he's going to be building a nice, strong defender nest out here on this northern bottleneck at the very least. Probably going to be placing one on the southern bottleneck as well. Either that or building up a military of his own and then pushing out to the south to just prevent Flipstip from taking it. Now, this is an interesting turn from Flipstip here. We are seeing Dominatrices, or at least one out on the field so far. Not sure if more are queued up. No, not quite yet. So, sort of a gamble there. I'm not sure how the range compares to most of these spiders or how long it takes to capture the spiders. It might be quicker than most units just because the spiders are squishier, and I think capture has to do with the health. But once again, I mean, just sending a single raider in here is completely helpless against this EMP. Slashers now trying to deal with these Venoms at range. This Dominatrix looking to take one of the Venoms for itself and then maybe stun out the other one with it. And that's actually a pretty quick capture there. I mean, one more Dominatrix would definitely have gotten that Venom right there, and then he could have stunned out the assisting Venom as well. And it would definitely be dangerous if you were to capture one of these redbacks. It could essentially tear apart the whole spider ball, or at the very least prevent Fealthas from using it. And these redbacks are fairly expensive. They tend to be a larger part of the spider ball heading into the mid game anyway. And here's that defender push, like I mentioned, from Fealthas. Flipstip wanting to preempt this. He's actually already built some artillery. Looks like a few more Wolverines coming up as well. Trying to clear this out before Fealthas can get it too saturated with defenders that he wouldn't be able to raid it anyway. A little bit of reclaim being left unused here in Fealthas' territory. Just needs to get a constructor down there. Looks like he does have a couple on the field, one expanding over here to this ridge and then another heading down south. Economically, it's actually still neck and neck, 19 to 20 or thereabouts. Slash is moving into position. Going to be hammering down on this Gauss, I believe. This has become sort of a recurring trope, building a Gauss to try and slow down these long-range, low-alpha units, especially Slashers in particular are good for it. Basically, you build it, put it on hold fire, and then it hunkers down, and he can just repair it. It doesn't take very much damage. He's actually not hunkering this one down. He's taking pot shots. Wow, at this artillery, he's doing a really good job, actually, even though he built it under fire, as you saw there. So this is a really interesting strategy, just supported by this commander. It's going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. How much does this thing even cost? 400 metal, it absolutely made cost against these units here. That was perfect. Wow, this Dominatrix coming in, taking a swing at the commander. I'm going to have to do better than that, though. In fact, in quite a bit of danger at 37% health. So he absolutely has to be careful about the positioning there. These Dominatrixes are fairly expensive, and you especially don't want to lose them after they've taken control of another unit. Like I mentioned, here's the military coming in from Fealthas, pushing down to the south to try and dislodge Flipstip's commander from this position. Just one LLT here to stop them, with the commander as well. I think once these spiders all get into range, yeah, this commander will ultimately be chased away. And, well, he is taking some more pot shots at the Venom. Venom's trying to get out of range here. And, wow, these spiders doing a really good job of microing themselves back. All these spiders have taken damage, but none of them went down. Even this Venom, which is at very low health. Ooh, boy, but here's the redback I was talking about. Does get captured by the Dominatrix. Not only is the capture time based on total health, it's actually based on current health, so a damaged unit like this is actually easier to capture. So that was a nice grab there from Flipstip. Just needs to repair these guys up, and then he can actually head out into battle. If this strategy could scale for him, it'd be a great thing. I mean, there's nothing better than using your opponent's military against him. Fealthas continuing to defender push. It looks like picking up this reclaim as well as he can. Maybe not wanting to invest too heavily into the defenders, given that there's artillery in position out here. Although I think that Gauss trick would work well. I mean, just doing that again would be fine. And here's the big guns coming out. We see this crab now from Fealthas. Let's see where this move order is heading out to. I would imagine out here to the north. Looks like a central position for the moment, but I would expect it to cut over to the north here, like I mentioned. Either that or maybe heading down south to try and bust this position. It is fairly well fortified at this point. There's a sizable military coming in here, so it's going to take some effort to dislodge. Not sure why. Oh, it looks like they're just being repaired up, but a bit of the military here from Fealthas actually back towards the northern edge, just below this little ridge line. So not really participating in the battle. This crab finally hunkered down. It does scare away these light vehicles. They'll need to retreat, and then, you know, it's really hard to say what you should build as light vehicle against this crab. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer. Maybe these Dominatrices could do it, but no, the range on this crab is just way too great. It would definitely take out the Dominatrices before they could actually capture it, especially now with just one. Yeah, tough call there. Maybe an air switch or... God, it's so hard to say. I mean, I think a factory switch is pretty much requisite, right? Like, what else would you do? Maybe some kinetic artillery. Maybe an impaler, if you could kite the crab with it, would do well. Actually, just even a couple would actually make cost against the crab. I think that's the right call, because he'd be able to take it out, well, probably not while it was moving. I'm not sure. It's fairly slow, but I don't think slow enough for an impaler to hit. But anyway, these Venoms stunning out these light vehicles here. Might actually be able to take them out. Doesn't look like there's any support coming in, and here we do see the air switch from Flipstip, so looks like his plan is to bomb out this crab. It does take quite a few bombers, though. It'll take 5 if he can catch this crab off guard while he's in transit. Otherwise, we're looking at, I think, 15 or something like that, so he absolutely has to bomb this crab while it's moving. He's also going to be looking to bomb out these spiders. The spider's a pretty bombable factory. The units are fairly large, so bombing out just one spider will usually make cost for a Raven, at least for most of the units. It would nearly make cost for that redback, would make cost against a Recluse, and that sort of thing. But I would imagine he's switching mostly because of this crab. Like I mentioned, he really does need to get it while it's in transit. It looks like he managed to capture an LLT here, which is just, well, kind of cute if nothing else. Bombers coming in. Going to be doing pretty well against these spiders. I think most of the spiders get one shot by the bombers, except maybe a redback doesn't. Difficult to say there. Infiltrator coming in as well. Looks like it's going to be looking to stun out maybe a commander. I'm not sure. Maybe just scouting in general. Definitely need to stay away from these artillery units, though. This crab dealing quite a bit of damage to these slashes as they try and leave the base. Oh, actually driving the slashes out of his own base and doing a quick job to hunker down as this Raven was coming in for a bombing run. A couple more Ravens coming in, but like I mentioned, when this crab is armored, it takes quite a bit less damage. It looks like, I mean, 250 or thereabouts from a Raven shot, which is typically 800, I believe. So something like that. It's quite a significant amount of armor, especially when you're trying to bomb it out. I'm surprised to see that there hasn't been any AA built up yet. Oh, we are seeing the air switch as well from Fealthas. Probably should be building some fighters, I would imagine, to try and counteract the bomber force that's being built up from Flipstip here. Flipstip doesn't seem to be aware that Fealthas does have an air factory of his own, so no fighters being built, which means that these Ravens are definitely vulnerable to a couple of Swifts coming in and cleaning house. Looks like that'll be exactly what we're seeing. A couple of Hawks, I meant to say, being built up here. Just two so far from Fealthas. Gonna be looking to catch these Ravens off guard and then, well, basically camp over them. We do see one AA Spider, not going to be able to do much against this Raven, although it does ultimately go down after taking a pot shot off on this commander. Oh boy, a few more Ravens coming in. Might actually be bombing out this commander. In fact, it does. Swift's coming in now, going to be cleaning up the rest of the Ravens. That was pretty significant, I mean. Wow, and he throws in the towel immediately after that? I don't know if I agree with that, man. Fealthas was doing pretty well. He just needed a couple of constructors here. Well, I guess there were a lot of constructors in position from Flipstip. Let's take a look at the ecographs. They were neck and neck, and Fealthas was in the lead. I don't think he had to resign there. Was his commander really that significant of an investment for him? Let's take a quick look. It was morphed to level 2. Radar jamming, build power, 24. Wow, 24 metal per second. Okay, that was a lot of build power. So maybe it was a lot of his strategy. And I think that combined with the artillery, which would effectively counter his turret push, which, like I said, is a pretty significant part of his strategy as well. So I guess that's the whole point of the commander. And so I can kind of see throwing in the towel there when the commander goes down. Was his crab dead as well? I'm not too sure about that one. Maybe if the crab was also dead, then definitely I would throw in the towel. But I don't know. I feel like he still had a fighting chance, especially being economically in the lead, like I mentioned here. But yeah, either way, good game, you guys, and I'll catch you all next time.